Creating a thumbnail with Gimp. Welcome to my channel. I focus on tabletop role-playing games, video games, and science fiction. Okay, let's start. First thing I do is I open up Gimp. I have Gimp linked on my taskbar. So this is Gimp. Gimp is free. I'll put a link where to download it. And we need a background image. So the first thing we need to do is find some sort of image. Now I have a picture here. And I can drag the picture I took on my phone. It's of a praying mantis. And I'm going to just, the images rotate. So let's rotate it. Let's see. So this is where the image of Gimp is. I took this picture of a praying mantis. I always was interested in praying mantis. Goes back to elementary school. They were learning about bugs and they taught about praying mantis, and I won a praying mantis and took it home and released it in the garden, and it lived for a while. So this is a praying mantis I saw outside in the fall, and I took a picture of it because I always like them. So this is going to be the background for my image. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I think we need to rotate the image. So Gimp, under image, you have transform and things that you rotate 90 degrees clockwise. So we're going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. So there we have, this is going to be the image. Now that for YouTube, we need an image that is 16 by 9 screen resolution, but actually what we need is something that is 1280 by 720 in size. That's the magic size that we really need. So we're going to go with the image and we're going to scale the image, and we're going to say, let's do 1280, and they're linked, so it's going to make it 960, 1280 by 960, but we'll scale it. Okay, so that gets us there. Now I'm running on a fairly high resolution monitor, so I'm going to bump up the size so we can see it again. So it's scaled up there. Now we need to trim it down to 720, so I'm going to do image, and I'm going to change the canvas size. Now, I still want 1280, but I want it at 720 is the height. Now I can click here center, and this gives me a little thumbnail of what it's going to look like, which looks good. So we're going to resize. So that gives me my nice background. This is going to be the background for our image. Now, the thing I need to do is I need to make sure this has an alpha channel. So let's add an alpha channel. And then I'm going to go and do layer to image size. So this is our image. So let's save this as file, save as, because we opened it up that, and we're going to save it as how to make a thumbnail with Gimp. And I'm going to copy that text just so I have it in the copy buffer. So there we go. So now we have the text. Now to make things a little bit easier to see, and this is the question, what colors do you want to do? And I tend to like white text with a black border, but this has got a lot of white in the background. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to create a new layer. We're going to call it black, and we're going to make it Now here we can see the foreground color is black and the background color is white. So we're going to make it foreground color. So that'll put that layer there. So now we can't see our praying mantis, but by rearranging the layers we can see it, but we can hide it. It allows us to, this is just the way I do things to make it easier to see text, my white text. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click my text tool. Actually, now I need to add, I need a text tool. Don't need to add a layer because it will automatically create that. So I click and draw piece of text. Now, you could use sans. I'm going to use a different font. Tech Gry Aviator Bold. Okay. I happen to like this font. By the way, I'm a font geek. So this is actually a free version of Avant-Garde, if you know what Avant-Garde is. I'm going to make it 100 high. So we have text. So now then, what are we going to, and we need to make it, switch the foreground color to white. So we're going to say, no, we're still black. So we're going to make this white. Okay. We're going to go, oh, it switched back. This is one of the, okay. Let's cancel this. Cancel. I'm going to click someplace else. Then I'm going to click back here. Let's do this here. Let's choose it here. Tech Gry Adventure Bold. And I'm going to make the size 100 to start with. For the size that we're doing here, and we want to center justify this. I kind of like centered. Now you guys can do whatever you want with that. This is your, no, now why did you change back? This is one of the complaints I sort of have with Gimp, but it's free, so let's go. Tech Bold 100. Centered. And we go, there we go. So we'll put that approximately centered. And now when we type, I always do my name. Well, and then we paste. How to make a thumbnail with Gimp. And we can go in and adjust a couple of little things here. Now, when I was a young boy, I come from, MacArthur is a Scottish name, and so what happened is I'm going to do something that is, this shows you what the meaning of some of these numbers are up here. This says we're using 100 point font, or approximately 100 pixel font. I'm going to drop this down to 80, and then this moves it up, changes the baseline. I'm going to move that, oh, come back here. There we go. And we move that up to 29. 29. This is only if you ever really want to get into really obscure things. And then I set, now then if I can get this clear type, bold, italic, underlined. Okay, that's the way I was taught to write my name. But I also want to actually kern it so that it gets a little tighter to the M, and then I select the A and I kern that one slightly too. So that's the way I type my name. So if you want to get into kerning, that's there. But this is how to make a thumbnail with Gimp. That's our text. Now, if I rearrange my layers, now notice over here we've got our layer here. We've got this layer here, which I can delete. That was accidentally created. There's my text layer. Here's my black layer, and here's my praying mantis layer. So let's move, if I move the black. Now it's a little bit hard to read because it's white on a very light background. So what we want to do is we want to put a black outline around it. So select the text, and there's a couple of ways to do it. The layer, if you go to, oh, it doesn't show up there. So then you select the text and you go path from text. That creates a path. So now I go back to layer. Let's create a new layer, and we're going to call it outline. All right. So, oh, we didn't make it right. We didn't do it right. Let's delete the layer. We're going to do a layer, new layer. Outline is fine, but we want it to be transparent. Okay. So now we've created a new layer that's on there. Now we come over to select, and we're selecting from the path. So we set, when we did the text to path, now we select from the path. So you can actually see that that's the selection area. Now under select, let's do grow. And let's grow this by 3. Oh, not 5, 3. So we grow it a little bit. So that grows it a little bit. Now then, let's edit and let's fill it with the background color. So now we notice that it's all black. Where did our white text go? Our white text is on this layer below. So this is how it will normally look, but we're not done yet. Let's put outline back at the top. Doesn't really matter, but outline. And then I'm going to create a drop shadow on it. It makes it pop a little bit. So I do filters, light and shadow, drop shadow. And for whatever reason with Gimp, mine sometimes disappears and I have to find it. So script food, drop shadow, and I go, okay, offset of 4, blur radius of 15 is fine. I go, okay, so that creates a drop shadow. You can see a subtle difference there. Now, the only thing I have left to do is I need to rearrange the layers. So I move the layer down, I move the layer down, and I select none. That's basically what it's going to look like without this little border here. So now let's save this. So I file, save. Now I create a PNG to use for uploading. So if I do file and it's export, and we'll leave it there, and you specify the extension, select file by extension. So this is just the way I've got things set up. By default, it's going to create my PNG. So I'm going to export this. And it first be a whole bunch of other options, and I leave them. I normally set the compression level and go on. So I have export. So that created my thumbnail. That's all. Now, it is much easier the next time. So let's say I close this. Close. So next time I come in here and I want to create a different thumbnail. I can open recent, open thumbnail with Gimp. I open this. So now what I do is I've got my text, my outline, my drop shadow, my praying mantis, and my black, which nothing is showing through from the black, but it's just there. So what I normally do is I delete my outline, I delete my drop shadow. Now I've got this. Now then, what I normally do then is I change the text. Say I'm using the same image. So I go some other text. And I could do something like this so that it's a little bit more vertically lined up. I select all of it, and then I do layer, text to path, and then I do layer, new layer, outline, because this one remembered some of the stuff because I didn't completely do outline. Now I can do select from path, I can do select grow. And again, it remembered the 3 that I'd put in there, grow. And then I can just do edit, fill with background color, filters, light shadow, drop shadow. Okay. And then just rearrange some layers. And I could save this with some other text. So then I can do a file, save as some other text, and I can file export it. So once you've got, for me, it's where I create the guts of it, and I often just change it. So within a few seconds, a few minutes at the most, I can create another thumbnail very quickly, very easily. And this is how I create thumbnails for that using Gimp. Thank you. I look forward to learning what you think about this video. Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate all your comments. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give me a thumbs down. I appreciate both forms of feedback. If you're new here and would like to subscribe, you can click on the icon on the left. If you're interested, there's more content on the right.